friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ragan and today I'm so excited to share this video with you. I am double fisting with an ice water with my Ravenclaw mug. Ravenclaw represents, and also a giant iced coffee in my pink tumbler. It's so hot here in London and I have a lot of videos to make for you, but let's just jump right in. This video idea came to me from my TikTok actually. Someone asked me to recommend them books based on Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So of course I did that, and then the idea kind of expanded for YouTube for you today, and I just want to talk about some really amazing modern fairy tales that you can check out and put on your TBR if you have not done so already. But I want to be really clear about what I mean when I say modern fairy tale. It's a phrase that I've kind of coined for myself. I don't know what anyone else considers to be a modern fairy tale, but this is what it means to me. Okay, so what I'm not talking about when I say modern fairy tale is a fairy tale retelling like Cinderella. I'm not talking about a historical fantasy like Romanov, which talks about Princess Anastasia. And I'm not talking about mythology retellings like Daughter of the Moon Goddess. So get those out of your head. Those are different in my brain and they're kind of different genres, and those are videos that we can do at another time. I'm talking about fairy tales that an author has created that has the classic kind of tropes like witch in the cottage in the enchanted forest, or prince slaying a dragon. But these are new stories that the author has created and they feel fresh and original, but at the same time you feel that classic fairy tale feeling when you read it. I hope that makes sense. But if we haven't met before, my name is Ragan. I talk about all things bookish here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me on @Ragan'sReads on all of those platforms. And I just want to jump right in. So let's get started. Let's first talk about Once Upon a Broken Heart. And this is my beautiful Fairy Loot edition. She is gorgeous. She is pink. Look, there's Jax. And then of course, it has some beautiful end papers. It's signed. The cover's gorgeous. And then you get inside cover art. Like, they really did the works on this one, and I am so grateful for it. I did have to buy this by myself. Someone resold their book, so I did have to pay a bit more for it, but it was totally worth it. And this is the edition that I actually used to read the book. It just felt like it encompassed the vibe and aesthetic of the story so much better than the other editions, which I also have, so let's show those as well. So in addition to that one, I have the brand new Waterstones exclusive paperback edition in blue. I don't have the normal edition, which is in pink. I have the regular US Barnes & Noble edition. This is actually very pretty, and on the inside it has a little rose gold apple, which is symbolic to the book. I then have a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition that I have covered with this exclusive pre-order dust jacket from the publisher, which I believe is, oh yeah, Flatiron Books. So you have the two main characters, Evangeline and Jax. Very cute. And then I have another Barnes & Noble signed edition. This cover says Recipes of the Ancient North, translated for the first time in 500 years. And that is a book in the story, so I think that's really fun. And of course it is signed. And then I have the Owl Crate signed edition in white. This cover I like the least. I like the naked hardback the least, but I like the white. And this says, every story has potential for infinite endings. And I believe that's a quote from the book, but wait, I'm not done. I then also have 3 editions of the 4 Waterstones first print editions. These are beautiful. I only have 3 out of the 4 of the hidden naked hardback. Modern Stoughton has done this for her Caraval series and for this duology. I believe it's a duology, but it could be a trilogy. The sequel is called The Ballad of Never After, and that's coming out in September. But this has an arrow on the inside. And then this one, these are all signed, by the way. This one has a little potion bottle, which might be my favorite. And then this one has an open book. The one I'm missing is the edition with the fox on it, but that one is the most popular, so I don't have that one yet. All right, let's take a sip of my coffee and then let's chat. Okay, I want to just talk about this book in particular first. Let me quote Cassandra Clare because she does a fantastic job. She says, a sugar-crusted, poison-spiked romp through a vibrant world of fairy tale intrigue, tangled romance, and forbidden magic. That is a beautiful little summary of this book. This follows Evangeline and her story, which takes place after the Caraval trilogy, Caraval being number 1, Legendary number 2, and then finale number 3. Caraval is a modern fairy tale within itself. This world is decadent and lush and follows 2 sisters, and they're invited to Caraval. They get a magic ticket to go to this kind of whimsical game, but everything in it is not what it seems. There's lots of mystery and murder and potions that take off years of your life and all sorts of kind of dark magic, but at the same time it's very lush, it's very descriptive, it's very colorful, there's romance. I cannot recommend this enough. Okay, so this book follows Evangeline, and she finds out that the love of her life is going to marry another woman. So she makes a really bad deal with Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts. He's wicked, he's charismatic, he's handsome, he's a trickster, he has blue hair, and Jax comes from the Caraval world where there are actual people in like gods embodying tarot cards, and Jax is one of these like cards. He's the Prince of Hearts. So she makes a bad promise and he gets 3 kisses in exchange for helping her stop her love's wedding. As you can probably tell by that synopsis, things are not going to go well for Evangeline and her beautiful pink hair. She got herself in a very tricky situation, so this is one that I absolutely recommend as a modern fairy tale. Okay, coming from Once Upon a Broken Heart, I have to recommend you An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. She's a fantastic writer. She writes like fairy tale comfort reads. She wrote this standalone fairy tale a couple years ago, and I love it. It's very short, you can read it in a day, but it packs a punch. And this has a character who reminds me of Jax. If you like that kind of mischievous enemy to lover, like do they have your best interest at heart, but you also are attracted to them, but they're like not a great person kind of character, that would be Rook, and he is the Autumn Prince of the Fae. So this story follows Isabelle, and she's a painter. She's a very renowned portrait painter, and she paints a portrait of Rook, and she does something that is illegal. She paints emotion within his eyes, and that is a big no-no for the Fae. They do not show emotion, and he takes her off and he whisks her through a spooky enchanted forest to kind of pay for her crime, essentially. This has really lush descriptions. There's like kind of gruesome food and picturesque settings, kind of Lord of the Rings fantasy vibe. The Fae in here are not the sexy Rhysand type of Fae. These are tricksters. They do not look out for humans. This has lots of romance, ancient magic, and really creative, beautiful settings. I highly recommend it. It is a classic modern fairy tale. The next book that I want to chat to you today about is one I actually finished this month in July, and that would be House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is a modern fairy tale within a ghost story. It's a standalone once again, so fantastic. You can read this in a couple of days. And this is a 12 dance, it is a retelling. I said it wasn't gonna be retelling, but it does have a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses in it. But at the same time, it's not like the entire story is a retelling. It's just like an element to this book. This follows a girl named Annalie, and she lives in a big like gothic manor house in this fantasy world by the sea. I wish there was a map in this book because the author does a great job describing the different islands, the different continents, the different gods and goddesses that rule over this land. But because it's a standalone and because there's no map, I couldn't like dive in as much as we would have been able to had there had been a map. Basically, in her village, everyone believes that her family is cursed because her sisters are dying off. This deals with enchanted dresses, a romance, a murder mystery. It's set in a gothic setting. The setting in particular reminds me of the Caraval world because everything's so rich in descriptions. For instance, at this island in this village, everything is sea themed. So like in the house, there are chandeliers made out of octopus crystals, and the bed has gilded octopi on the bed frames. The balloons are shaped like whales and dolphins and fish, and all of the food is seafood, and it's just described in a really kind of magical way. And so for that reason, I would recommend House of Salt and Sorrow. Fantastic book, highly recommend it. I did read this for a Mermaid Marathon, which was hosted by Macy at the Brightside Girls channel here on YouTube and Instagram, and I have a vlog of that 2-week readathon coming out to you this month as well. The next book I have to share with you is one that came out at the end of 2021, and this is like a quintessential modern fairy tale in my opinion, and that would be this little story called Once More Upon a Time by Roshni Chotsky. Look how cute this little book is. I don't want to say too much about it because it's so short. Like, look at this. It's so short. It's just over 100 pages. It's 130 pages, and you can read this easily in 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour. This follows a prince named Ambrose and a princess named Imelda. They love each other until one day a witch places a curse on them and they fall out of love. But they have to embark on a perilous journey together to find their heart's desire. They have to fight enchanted creatures, sleep in like a dingy little village. The witch is involved. Roshni Chotsky put on Goodreads when I first saw this that she wrote this book not to change the wheel, but to make the wheel blue and sparkly, and I think that's the perfect way to describe this book. It's not anything new, but at the same time, it's a brand new fairy tale, if that makes sense. So if you like fairy tales, you need to grab this one. Okay, I only have one more book to share in today's modern fairy tale video, but if you like this, please let me know and I will do another one. I'm constantly reading new fairy tale-esque books and always looking for another one to add to this pile. So if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if you want me to continue on with this series. So the next one I want to talk about is one that you've probably heard of, but maybe you haven't heard of this book described as a modern fairy tale, and that's why I want to recommend it to you today. It's one I've talked about a lot on my channel, so if you heard me talk about it before, I'm sorry, but I'm also like not sorry. Please read this book, and that would be Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, and then of course its sequel, it's a duology, Unravel the Dusk. These are the beautiful Fairy Loot editions. Let me just quickly show you. Inside cover art. So pretty, I love it. Many people describe this book as a Mulan retelling. It is not. That is like it's just like a tiny little drop into this beautiful, enchanting adventure with romance and like mythological friends and enchanted objects and beautiful dresses and demons and humans that can transform into animals. It's very, very whimsical and lush and beautiful and fun. Like, it's just a fun read. I really enjoyed it. Here's the US edition. My husband also got me the Owl Crate edition, which is signed and has a gold spine as well. But basically this follows a girl who disguises herself as a man, so that's the Mulan aspect. But she has to go to the palace in this Chinese inspired fantasy setting to compete as a tailor in place of her father to basically win favor and win a magical competition. However, that is part 1 of this book, and I believe this book is broken into 3 parts, and then of course you get an entire sequel after that. I really love this. It definitely has the modern fairy tale vibes, like I said. Demons, adventure, traversing through magical landscapes. You're going up snowy mountains and across dangerous deserts. You have enchanted objects. She did also write a prequel book, which is 6 Crimson Cranes. Now this book is a Chinese inspired mythology retelling, so I don't technically consider it in this pile of modern fairy tales, but it is also fabulous. It follows an exiled princess and she has to save her brothers who were turned into cranes. So you could definitely check that one out. I would read that one after reading the Spin the Dawn duology, but that's how I read them and that's how they were published, but you could read them as standalones or in reverse order. So those are the 5 fairy tales that I have to recommend to you today. If you like this video, please hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload new videos. I'm uploading once a week at least this summer, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're one of my book besties and you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please let me know. Drop a crown down below and let me know your favorite fairy tale, either retelling or a modern fairy tale if you want. And I just want to chat about all things princess and fairy tale vibes with you. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.